Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to FFC. I'm Maureen.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Eve.
and I'm Jeanette.
And we're back with another One Tree Hill episode for you. And before we dig in, we just want to remind you what we've got coming up for you for the rest of this year. We've got Netflix review coming up next week where we will be talking about You're So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say, that entire title. And we're also going to be reviewing Old Dads, which is also on Netflix within that same episode. After that, on Christmas Eve, you will be getting our streaming holiday movies review that Amanda and I did. And our last one of this year is going to be the One Tree Hill. It's actually coming on New Year's Eve. All the holidays on Sundays this year. But we'll be going over seasons 7 and 8. And we'll only have one more One Tree Hill one after that. And then it will be all done. No more One Tree Hill after that. So I'm not as happy about that as I once was. You'll be happy to hear. Now, so we are going to be doing episodes 5 and 6 of One Tree Hill. And if you have not already, please remember to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. That helps us to get you interviews. Now that the writer's strike and actor strike is over, we're going to try to get some interviews on here for you from the cast of One Tree Hill, from the cast of all the other shows that are coming out. We're still hoping to get some of our Chicago people on. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel to get our viewership up. And if you are listening to some podcast channels, make sure to subscribe and write us there as well. So let's dig into episodes 5 and 6. Now, I was predicting that I would like this back half better because it's the teenagers are no longer teenagers, they're adults.
Yes,
that was accurate. I will never ever watch seasons 1 through 4 again.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not ever.
Yeah, that's okay.
And honestly, like 5 and 6 blended for me because I mean, I'm binging them and they're bleeding into the same thing. It's fine. But it almost felt like the season 6 closer could have been a series finale. Like, were they planning on that?
I've
it
always
kind of
thought
was.
that. Yeah. Well, do you know? Okay, so we were curious. We were talking about whether you know this. Do you understand? You know that Lucas and Peyton are not coming back, right?
Yes.
Okay, we were wondering if you actually knew that drive.
I knew they were done at season 6.
There.
Yeah, their drive off was their last, their last hurrah goodbye.
I know he comes back for an episode something later.
Just one,
but
yeah,
in season 9.
9.
I think.
Eve's favorite season.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Not 9, but
9's kind of.
It's an interesting season. That's
It is. It's just like they had this board of ideas, you know how writers do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got to the end and they're like, what have we not used?
Let's just throw it all in.
And then they just threw everything in there.
I think you'll still like it better than the first 4. I still like it better than the old seasons.
It's a lot of great storylines in only 13 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's shorter.
It's
Okay.
shorter.
All right. Well, we do meet some new characters in 5 and 6, some of whom I love, some of whom I hate. Now, Gigi is not a new character, but I hated her when she came back.
Oh, yeah.
She was awful. I did not enjoy that part of the storyline at all.
No, her little her flirtiness was cute in high school.
Oh, yes.
It was cute in high school, but her still acting the same but worse as an adult was so off-putting.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
always found
Funny.
her character in high school and post high school just to be unnecessary.
Mhm.
And both times I think she was an unnecessary person to have in the story. That's just my opinion.
I get the purpose for her here was to do the love triangle thing with Mouth, but in the first, when she first appeared, there was really the only purpose that she served originally was so that she could come back in this back half and have a history with Mouth. But it didn't need to happen. Why do they all have to have love triangles? Why do we have to prove how much they're all desperately loved by everybody?
Yeah.
Why? That's not realistic.
I mean, I love a good love triangle, okay, but
Good being the operative word.
Mouth Millie Gigi is not.
That was a bad love triangle or whatever the heck that was.
And they
No,
made us be mad at Mouth again.
Yeah.
Why? We don't like being mad at Mouth.
And then I think in turn also a little mad at Millie. I think it caused us to be mad at both.
Yes.
And it wasn't necessary.
And
So,
she was the new character, Millicent, which
we
I
like
kept
her.
wanting to call her Maleficent is what I wanted to keep calling her, but that's not her name.
Millicent.
So Millie is what she's called. But I agree. I wanted to be mad at her because I have more of a connection to Mouth and
Yeah.
she's new. but she was right on some of her points, so I had to be mad at Mouth. But then she was also wrong on some points, so I don't know, I didn't like it. And then we also meet Victoria, who is Brooke's mom,
Mhm.
who is a awful, terrible human being. I'm told I'm going to love her by the end.
Well, I
In the
don't know if
last episode, she showed promise.
you may not love her, but I definitely think it will be a turnaround. I
You'll
think
grow
we've
to-
already
She'll grow on you. I
Yeah.
don't know if you'll love her.
like I enjoy her because I think she's funny. Like I think her snarkiness
is funny.
like makes me laugh. And I think I mean you already see in season 6 that I think she makes progress.
Well, at the end,
Um,
yeah.
She will make further progress, and so I think you'll grow to like her a
My
little
only
bit.
issue is the progress didn't make sense. There was nothing prompting it. There was nothing that jump started it. It was just like,
The
okay,
great-
I'm different now.
You know what? I think it's like I don't know. I'm telling you, that's what I was laughing about. Like something about becoming a grandparent. Like these evil people are all of a sudden like kind to like
And she does love Sam
Children.
because she's plucky and dark.
yeah, who doesn't love Sam?
That comment did make me laugh. Speaking of, she's another new one that we meet. What did you say, Eve?
I was gonna say that's why I love Sam. She's plucky and dark. Like, how do you?
Yeah,
I didn't.
we all love Sam.
I like that they drew the connection to how we originally met her, because at first I was like, do we know a Samantha? I remember asking in the chat, who is Samantha? I don't,
Mhm.
I felt like Olaf
Yeah.
in that Frozen 2 when he's like, Samantha?
Yeah.
How does
I
he know
don't even know
Samantha?
Samantha. Yeah.
I like how it was a little bit drawn out. It wasn't
Yes.
so like you meet her and the next episode she's living with Brooke.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I actually liked, I couldn't remember Jack Daniels' brother, but Jack Daniels is another character we meet who is, at first I was like, I don't know if I like this guy. It's just, you're bugging me. No, Jack Daniels is, I'm not going in order. I mean, he's just another person that we meet.
Yeah.
Oh, his brother, what's his
Xavier.
Oh, that's his, no, Quentin is,
Xavier.
yeah,
Xavier.
Quentin is the guy who, I didn't like that storyline either.
Xavier is to me the
He's the scariest
number
villain,
one villain
Mhm.
in One Tree Hill.
for
Yeah,
sure.
he's gross.
He's
I didn't
not
like
done
the
yet
guy.
either, Maureen. We will see him again,
Oh,
and it
Wait,
is
really?
terrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in season
Oh,
in
yeah.
season 9.
did you
Okay.
just say he's Semper Fi?
No,
Oh.
terrifying.
terrifying.
Oh, terrifying. I was gonna say, if they put him in the military, that's not,
Oh,
that's not a
no.
good idea.
And he
So
fights
that-
Derek.
That would be bad for everybody. No, thank you.
Derek's like, wait, I gotta fight another one of these
Yeah.
One Tree Hill.
It's like for me with him, like he pulled off the scary. Like okay, Psycho Derek was one thing. I think the fact Matt
more
Barr,
funny than
like
anything
it's
else,
hard
though.
to like Matt Barr. I think does okay pulling off psychotic, but like
Does he?
it's not the same. This other guy, like if I was to meet him on the street, I would turn the other way, even though I know he's an actor and he's not really the person that he is. I don't think I could actually speak to him because I would be terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I've never
Devin,
seen him in
by the
anything
way.
else. I would love
Devin
to
McGee.
try to find him in something else just to get that image out of my head at some point.
He was in The Rookie.
Oh well, Elena wants me to continue watching that. I bet he's someone they arrest. I bet he plays that part, you know?
That's the only part he can play now.
Wait.
See him playing a good
Oh
guy.
wait, never mind.
Like, he just does not have
There's no way.
that luck. No.
He doesn't have a good guy acting bone in his body.
He's probably such a lovely
He's
person
a
in real
decent
life.
human being, but his
He's
acting
a great,
chops.
he's a
No.
great actor. He's a great actor because he played the creepiest, like, most terrifying character ever. But no,
He
I
was
would-
also played in an episode of Vampire Diaries.
Ooh.
Orange Vest Man.
Oh, no. Sadly, Orange
Man.
Vest Man doesn't stand out to
Do you
me.
know what though?
But
I feel like I can see him in my head. in Vampire
Really?
Diaries.
That's because you
I
noticed you
really
just did a
do.
rewatch of this, and so you have his face pictured.
Maybe.
now I want to know. We'll find out what episode and go watch that episode. Look
There you
for
go.
him.
But so Xavier was crazy, and I like how that is a storyline that I appreciated how they wrote it, because that was
Mhm.
one again where we didn't sit there and dwell on this one storyline. I mean, there was pieces of it that challenged and changed the characters, which I appreciate. I think that's good writing, and so they did carry that through with his storyline. There was a couple different people he affected in really awful, terrible ways. Jack Daniels, I wasn't a big fan of at first, and then when he said to Sam, "Well, what did you say about Brooke?" I was like, "Oh no, he beat her up." So the way they did that though was poorly written, because she went to his house and then stole Xavier's sketches, and then went back to the house to stay and thought he's never going to notice. That seemed a little. So there were
Yeah.
points of that story that was like, this isn't how this would happen. But I thought that was a well written storyline. I was very tense through that entire part.
Yes,
Very tense.
very much.
Quentin Fields is another one who was introduced in this part. I think that was the only death other than Jimmy Edwards. And that was because of how he reacted at the end. But this was horrifically sad.
Yes, this is like, to me, the saddest death
Yes, I agree.
in One Tree Hill.
I never remember which episode it is when he died, like when he's killed. So every time it happens, I'm like, oh my God, this is the episode. I'm not prepared.
I know. It comes up every time, and I'm like, oh.
Like,
Because, you know,
surprisingly,
I always think it's like we have Quentin a lot longer
that's what I was going
than
to
we
say.
do.
Yeah,
This
I keep
rewatch-
forgetting how early it is in season 6 that it
Yeah.
happens. And then it comes up, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not ready for this.
I'm like, we
Yeah.
met.
I know. And I'm like, he affects us so strongly, I think, for him to be in so few episodes. Like,
And it's that redemptive arc. It's because when he first comes on, all you want to do is punch him in the face repeatedly.
mhm.
And then he becomes this decent, great guy who is so good with Jamie. Oh my gosh, stop making these little children sad on this show. I don't like that either.
Oh,
I can't remember what Quentin's brother's name is, but him and Jamie at Quentin's grave
Andre.
was like Andre. Yes, I kept
Yeah.
wanting to call him Antoine. I knew that was Skill's name. But them at his grave was just, it felt like my heart was being ripped out. I did not like seeing. And then Mom,
No.
I
that was
know.
a
Is
really hard
anybody
episode.
else? You know what? And I never really thought about it until this last watch through, because I feel like this watch through I've kind of been trying to pay a little bit more attention to things because I know we're going to discuss it.
Mhm.
How did Q act and get away with everything that he was doing? Like when we first met him, after you meet his mom, it just boggles my mind of why he acted the way he was acting.
I think he acted different in public than he did at home or around his mom because he had a persona to the basketball thing is weird because all these like even you go down to, is it Devin Fox or Dixon Fox and then Nino Jones, when Nathan first meets them, they're arrogant a-holes who are awful human beings, and but then you see them in private. Devin was a family man and had to come back and beg to be put on the team. Nino just needed some care. So like what it's like they have this persona of basketball players that
Mhm.
they have to be ugly and nasty to show how good and great and godlike they are. But
Kinda
when
like
they're
Nathan was.
yes, but when when they actually receive love or when they're in their home, like Quentin with his mom, I have to imagine that he was a completely different kid.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
going off of what she said, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Andre, like the way Andre was connected to his brother
Yeah.
Mhm.
and some of the things that
I guess
Quentin
I
had
just never
said.
thought about it before until I watched it this time, and I was like, man, because I was saying, I'm like, I just love his mom.
Yeah.
I was like, how did he get away with all he got away with? Because I feel like she would have just bent him over and whooped his
Yeah.
butt.
Yep.
She didn't know.
No.
Mom was active.
I feel like she's the kind of mom who would have like shown up to practice and like dragged him out by the ear and been like, no, I don't think so.
Oh, that
I
would have
loved
been
her.
wonderful to see.
If we were, she's a single mom, like probably a lot of time, and like I'm making the comparison in my head, like because we've all watched Friday Night Lights. Let's think about like Smash,
That's
and I
true.
mean we know how great his mom was, and we know how he acted. Like it's almost like this star athlete persona just gets in their head, and like this is how they act to just kind of keep up appearances, but that's
Mhm.
not who they are at home, you know. So
That makes
If I'm
sense.
this good, then I have to make everyone believe I'm godlike, and I have to
Mhm.
be godlike by showing I don't care about anybody, which is not an accurate depiction of sports, by the way. And I
yeah.
don't like that. Like I played junior high and high school sports. I coached junior high. That's not how they all act.
Yeah.
They make it seem like I mean, yes, there is that one here and there, but they make it seem like everybody at every level is so awful. Like, why would you want to be on a team if they're all like that?
Yeah,
Why?
because I mean, the person I'm thinking of, our like star football player, we joke about he's like, you know, our town MVP because we just found out he's on the basketball team as well when we went to like or we went to watch the game or whatever.
Oh, I thought you were talking about one of the shows. I was like, who?
No. Like I'm talking about like at our middle school, our guy, like he won like the like running, like he won the like the state award for whatever because we won the state championship and all that. But he's like a super nice guy apparently, like at school too. So like it's not necessarily the way it has to be. And he's like the star running back for, you know, middle school in Kentucky here. So, but I don't know. It's just funny that they do want to paint that picture on these shows like that. If you notice, I feel like that generation of shows, that's the way they write everybody. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. And we were just talking about this. What were we watching? Oh, we were watching that Family Switch this morning. And like David and I both said, because there's like a bully in it. And I was like, I don't remember anyone. And I not like I was popular, but there was no bullies that would just like seek you out in the hallway and just beat you
I
up for no
know.
reason. Like, I don't.
Yeah, they didn't
Does
beat
that
you up, but they
really
would target
happen?
you.
I mean, they might target you, like pick on you, but not like, I don't know, like it seems over the top, like when it's in TV and shows, and I'm like, I don't remember that, at least not here, anyways.
And now with like TikTok, it is more prevalent on social media to like it's a cool, funny
they'll
thing.
do
to,
it on
like,
there.
Do it. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true.
But I don't know how much that's happening every day, or if it's just happening so they can get, I'll get a lot of views. I'll be super internet famous if I do this. So I don't know how realistic it is anymore, but it's still it's weird how they depict them. The other person we meet that's new this season is Lindsay, who now you guys are preparing me to hate this girl.
Well, no, I
did
think
not hate her.
The One Tree, we don't really hate her either, but like One Tree Hill public as a whole, I kind of doesn't really like her very much.
Yeah,
I
she's
don't-
not very liked.
I don't hate her. What I do hate is the way that her character was used.
I agree.
That's accurate. I can
She
agree
was
with
not hateable. I really
that
liked
at all.
Yeah, I really liked her, but it's like the only reason this character existed was to create this wedge between Lucas and Peyton yet again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they really didn't give this wonderful actress any material to really make us love her character as much as we really could have. And that's what I don't like at all.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because I feel like when she first came on the screen, the first thing that I remember, it's not the first thing, but one thing I remember is like Brooke, straddling in the bed, and just like it's such a cute moment when Brooke and Lindsay first meet. She's in Lucas's room. Marine's
Like,
giving me
you're
the look.
wearing
She doesn't
me.
remember.
She thinks it's Lucas, and she goes and hops on the bed or whatever, like, and then
I don't remember that at all.
That's how Brooke and Lindsay meet.
I don't remember that.
Gotta go
Thinks
back
Luke's
and
in
watch
bed
it
and she
again.
straddles him. Like playing.
Well, I would hope so.
And then Lindsay's wearing Brooke Davis's clothes.
And
like,
then Luke,
close over bros.
Yes. And then
And
Brooke
she's like,
gets all
"You're wearing
excited about it.
me."
Yeah. Okay. I remember that part.
Why couldn't we have that Lindsay the whole time?
Yeah.
I agree with Eve. Like, I don't agree what they did with her character.
Because they had to have it make sense that they break up. And the only way to make it make sense is for her to take a U-turn on her character's behaviors.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't think the U-turn was that drastic. I think that it was weird.
If what they wanted was for us to dislike her, like they could have done a better job of making us dislike her if that's what they really wanted to do. But they didn't. They gave us this likable character, and then they were like, okay, now she's gone. I'm like, well, why was she here?
I remember asking the chat, people hate her? Why?
No.
Because I liked her. The other
Peyton's
one who
a lot uglier in that whole situation than Lindsay is.
Yeah, that did not
Absolutely.
shine a good light on her at all. Maybe that was the other purpose, was to show another side of Peyton. I don't know, but that was not favorable.
no.
K-Fed, whose real name I don't remember, or whose character name I don't remember, is in another weird addition. Like he's I just have to say this about him, and we are not going to really talk about him because he was only the vessel to get Mia Catalano, who I don't know, you guys probably knew this, but she was actually a singer before being an actor, and they coordinated this so that the very first episode she premiered on was the same date as her premiere music debut. Went live. So that was the only reason he was on there, was to catapult Mia's character onto the show so they could do a multi-layered media release of her stuff.
But I have to say, on the podcast, they talked for a second about K-Fed on this, and I won't get into it very much, but they did say that he was so nice and so like overly respectful, because the things that he had to say and like
That makes
slapping
sense.
Haley's butt and
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. Like he went up to Joy before the shoot and he was like, it says I have to slap your butt. Like, are you okay with this? He's like, I
That's
can
nice.
try to get out of doing it. I don't agree with it. And she's like, no, if it says it in the script, do it. It's fine with me. But I thought it was really cool of him that he's like,
That is cool.
And by the way, another fun fact. This one's really cool. Sorry, I love listening to podcasts.
That's okay.
So everybody knows that's not K-Fed singing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
K-Fed can't sing. He's a dancer.
That's what I was gonna wait. Before you go, that's what I wanted to bring up. Is his background is dancing?
Yes.
He was an awful dancer in this. Awful. Every time they showed him
I know.
moving, like, dude,
I
this is
know.
your background. At least make it believable,
They
man.
had to have say you dance like this or something.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Or maybe dadhood just tanked him or something. I don't know. But the person singing actually went to college with Hillary Burton as well as Michaela.
Oh.
And she dated him. And she had no idea they were going to use his song. And she heard the voice, like the song that they were using, that K-Fed. And she's like, that voice sounds so familiar to me. Who is this? And they told her the band, and she looked the band up, and she was the guy she dated.
Oh.
I mean,
Fun fact. Okay,
that's
we
fun.
can continue.
Well, that was all I had to say about him, because his character was just
He was in there for a minute.
Yeah, he was a jerk, and he didn't. The other vessel he proved to be there for was Nathan couldn't punch him. So I did laugh out loud when Quentin threw the punch in his face. That was so funny to me. I don't know why, but I laughed right out loud when Quentin just came in and punched him.
I like that.
All
I
right.
mean, yeah.
Nana Carey's also the other person we met. And at first I was like, okay, I know Tori DeVito, because we talked about this on the Chicago Med podcast before I agreed to watch One Tree Hill, about how she played Crazy Carrie, Nana Carey. So I knew that Crazy was coming out, but it took a long time for that Crazy to fully make its appearance. And I just kept going, okay, I'm refusing to like her. I'm not going to give her a chance. I know that she gets crazy, but like towards the end of season 5, I'm like, when in the world does she get crazy though, guys? And then she left, and I thought, that's all.
Was that it?
That really? It made sense, obviously, later in season 6. But I was so not disappointed, but I was like, wow, you guys have a really low bar for crazy at first. It makes sense now. I'm up.
Maybe it's because I obviously know how the storyline goes, because I've seen One Tree Hill like countless times. But I feel like I just see that Crazy like right from
I do too.
like every time I see her, I'm like, oh God, not this.
I do it every time. As soon as she walks from behind those bushes, from finding Jamie in the road.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
Come on,
oh.
Haley, wake up! This lady's crazy. Can't you see it?
I'm like, she just found your kid, and yeah, whatever. I'm suspicious of her.
Really quickly. She finds her kid really quickly.
Right?
The other thing that bugged me about her, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but when they're at Trick, and Haley does not see her, does not notice her, and she sees Haley, and she makes a point to go out of her way and go, oh, Haley? Oh no, I suppose you've seen me in here. Like, yes, because you just called her name, and she turned and saw you in there. I think had you been silent, she perhaps maybe might not have seen you in there. just a thought. For like,
insane.
it makes sense now, but at the time I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah, she got a little crazy, didn't she?
She did. James Vanderbeek is another character in here who's also his character name I don't remember.
Oh, I just watched this. I should know his
I
name.
so did I just watched it on Friday, and I don't remember his name.
I
Just
never
direct
remember.
guy.
Just
Oh.
James Vanderbeek. That's all we really need, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
James Vanderbeek.
He makes me laugh so hard. Oh,
Adam Reese.
At Reese. Yep. Okay. So I remember going on to because I realized who it was, and I went on to because I do voice chats in our group chat instead of texting, because I'm watching while I'm responding, and it's just easier. But I remember going, oh, there's James Vanderbeek. Oh no, he just did a line of Coke. I was so excited to see him, and I thought he was going to be great, and then he just was like, oh,
he's
right
still
off the bat.
better. Still
He's
better
the
than
opposite of
Leary.
Dawson.
I still, even with the Coke and the sleeping with all the girls, still better than Dawson Leary. I'd still.
I know.
I'm not a Dawson fan. I don't like Dawson. I don't like him at all.
That's a
He
whole nother
annoys the
story.
crap
I
out
mean,
of me.
like,
Yes.
there's moments when Dawson's fine, but
Dawson is the reason I never finished Dawson's Creek.
that's
I'm being
upsetting to
honest.
me, though. Actually, because
No, because he gets better.
Well, he
Actually,
did when I
We
stopped
should
watching
do
it.
a Dawson's Creek
No,
rewatch.
no, I just did this one for you. No,
like Dawson, actually, I would say Dawson is better later on once he's over
Yeah.
his mopey like Joey stuff. Like
Once he's over the Joey things, then he gets a lot better.
well,
Yeah,
in this
college-
he was insane in this.
He was.
yes,
Like, but there were moments where he was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. I don't want that to make sense because it's coming out of your mouth, but that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But then immediately following that, he would do something insane. Like when he was giving them advice on the river court, and then he hopped in a helicopter with his girl who he's lying to about starting a movie. Like, oh my god,
Fake Peyton.
He was amusingly insane though, so it was okay.
He was, yes. I
He
was just-
made me laugh every time.
he did, because he was crazy. And then when they're doing the movie casting, And Nathan was like, why am I always shirtless? And then the next guy came in and Reese was like, all right, Nathan, shirt off. Okay. There was also Owen, who turned out to be a bit of a disappointment for me.
Same.
Isn't that so disappointing? I was
Very
always
disappointing.
pretty disappointing over this.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
it
because I
was.
love, like, I mean,
How do you pronounce his last name?
Joe Maggiano? No, Maggiano.
no, I don't
Is it-
know.
Very close,
No,
but I don't ever
it's-
want to say his real last name on film because I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
I don't know.
I think I feel like I can
Manganiello?
spell it.
Manganiello?
Joe Manganiello.
I told you
Manganiello.
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 It's over here, right? Yeah.
Pretty easy. Manganiello.
Well, it doesn't look like that's how you would pronounce it.
I know. I had to go to a video of him saying his name.
Well, Owen is played by Joe Manganiello, which we had to work. You don't see it, but we have done extensive research to see how you pronounce his name. That is how you pronounce his name, or at least how he does. I don't know.
So much promise, I think. And I mean, I know,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong. I mean, Julian is number one in my book over almost everybody in the world. So, like, yes, but like, I hate that we kind of destroyed Owen to get there. It's okay.
They didn't need to.
Owen didn't want to be a part of Brooke's life because she wanted kids. It's okay that he didn't want to be a parent. Like, none of this is like an issue. His attitude, like when Sam's missing, like, oh, it's not my like, that's annoying. I mean, if nothing else, like, this is a girl you supposedly care about, and this is someone that she cares about.
Exactly.
So it should mean something to you.
Doesn't mean you want to have children.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's okay.
There was
One of my
potential with
favorite
Owen.
things is with the Chase situation, though. Like,
I feel like
that date was so funny. His realization of, like, trying to get, do you remember the girl? And he was like, yeah. Do you remember her name? And he was like, oh my god! Like, imagine how it, like, embarrassing. How, like, that'd be so awkward. I just
didn't Owen fight for Chase to be on to like get Peyton and Chase together too? Like he had to convince Brooke to do this.
Yeah. Well, no, he said, yeah, if I
he
bring a
just said, "My
friend, you can bring
friends."
Peyton. And I also love that the Chase and Peyton little duo during that too.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fun and flirty and cute.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Peyton's character is always so heavy that when I get that, like, lightness from her character, it's so refreshing.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And that brings up somebody else who I actually didn't put in here, but I meant to. Mia Catalano is someone else who we meet in this, who we already talked about a little bit, but that's Chase comes back essentially to further that storyline because he ends up with her.
Yep.
I think I'm the weird one. I cannot stand Mia.
I don't like her either.
I would rather her storyline not exist, but it's okay.
She gets less and less though in the show. I mean,
He does, yeah. So does she.
She does, yeah. And she'll get less and less as you go too.
Yeah.
Like I think for me it's I'm trying to find a tactful way to say this. I think that she is a singer. She's not an actress. She's got a beautiful voice. But when she talk, and like you can tell someone is overacting. Mandy Moore has a little bit of this too. At least she certainly did when she was younger. Like in A Watch, remember, she'll pop, like her entire lower jaw almost becomes detached when she says words. Like, that's not natural. Don't just talk like a normal human.
I mean, granted, Hillary Burton's the same way, and she's the main character of the show. So, you know, but it is what it is.
She's got weird things.
Sometimes the thing is, I don't think Hillary plays dramatic well. Like, I
She
think
does not.
Like when we were talking about the light and funny, I think Hillary does great.
Mm-hmm.
But when she's supposed to be dramatic and serious and sad, she just overplays it. Like, it's as opposed to Brooke, who plays, like, Sophia plays it with perfection.
Yes, she does.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
And I think with Hillary, like, she can't do sad without putting a smile or a laugh in there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a character choice that they made for her. Like, Peyton doesn't want to be sad, so she does this. I don't know if that's like, but it's weird because you don't ever see her cry. Well, another new character we meet, whose name I don't remember, is an awful principal. And the only reason I put her in here is because, what is her name?
Rumpkus.
Oh, because I know what Nathan calls her, and it's not that. And I knew that wasn't her real name.
Yeah, it's Rumkiss, and that's why don't they call her Butt Kiss or whatever, like, or something?
Something. They call her something that's not Rumpkus.
Yeah. They like change it, but it's Rumkiss, yeah.
And I think she was in Vampire Diaries. She played Tyler's mom, and then she was also in Teen Wolf. She played Lydia's mom, right?
Yes.
And she's on One Tree Hill.
Yes.
Or I'm sorry, we're talking about One
I
Tree
was
Hill.
like, that's why we brought her up, Dave.
And she's on Y&R.
Oh, Young and the Yes, that's right. And
Yeah.
she's married to Styles' dad in Teen Wolf, correct? In real life.
Lyndon Ashby. Mm-hmm.
But also Tyler's dad makes an appearance in here from
Where?
Vampire Diaries, and
You
I don't
said
remember
that.
where.
And I don't remember that.
I don't know what episode I was watching when it came out, but I was like, oh, hey, I know that guy. I'm gonna have to look it up at some point today. And we don't get her.
He was also in Teen Wolf as well.
Oh, that's right, he was
Jackson's dad in Teen Wolf. We only see him like one time, but like he's Jackson's dad.
Like they have it in their contract that we only do shows together. We're a package deal that you can't have us.
Because they do it now. Like the CW just they keep their
Reuse.
actors employed. If they leave a show, they put them on another one. Like they make sure they all stay employed. So I think that's just what happens.
I think I forgot because I didn't watch this live.
Although
I forgot
Teen
this was on
Wolf-
the Vampire or this was on CW.
Teen Wolf is a MTV show, so never mind my theory. That doesn't actually work out.
The other person that we meet on One Tree Hill, well, I'm looking up, I'm just gonna keep going, is Miss Lauren, who is Jamie's teacher and Skills' lady.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird though that Skills dated Deb and then this lady and Dan almost got together. So it's a little odd.
I don't, Miss Lauren's fine. She's just another character that just doesn't do anything for me
At all.
I don't dislike her. I don't like her necessarily, though. It's just she's a sweet little teacher for Jamie, and that's kind of.
And
I don't feel like there's any substance to her and Skills either as we go on. Like I don't know.
Oh, really?
Not really. Do you think so, Eve? I almost forget that there was ever a relationship between the two of them until I rewatch it.
Oh,
Like when I think about Skills, it's literally just Bevan and Dev is what I think about.
I like their relation. I didn't hate it, but
it just feels weird.
there never was much real chemistry, I felt like.
That's what I think it does. It feels forced a little bit, in my opinion. So
This guy who plays Lockwood is in so many things.
I don't know, I remember you said that, and I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah,
that.
he was
That
2
doesn't mean-
episodes.
Well,
He played an attorney, Frank. He was in 2 episodes.
Whose attorney was he? I wonder.
I don't know. He was in season 2, episode 18, The Lonesome Road, and he was in season 6, episode 20. I would for you. He was Jake's attorney, or he was Nikki's attorney. He was one of them.
Okay.
That was the first time I saw him, I think.
Okay, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah.
Okay, so Miss Lauren is there, and it's I don't hate her. She's just kind of vanilla for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I did save. I don't know if you noticed, but I saved the last new character for last because I know
So
how
we
people
spend the
feel.
rest of the time on this. ready.
Julian, we meet Julian, and
Love of my life.
we have to wait for Amanda to come on because Amanda has some very serious thoughts.
We
about
don't need
Julian.
her thoughts on Julia, no, actually.
Her thoughts
We
don't
could just-
count
we could
because
leave
they're
those out.
wrong.
I would like to say I think she's crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to say that to her face. So let's.
Okay,
Let-
well that I can get on board with. So let's-
Yes.
Now I just have to try to be silent and not say anything about him until she gets back. Because
Well, let's go into Naley. Okay. First,
First,
the plot line we introduce into season 5 is the injury, which this isn't like, I get that Nathan has always had kind of a temper, but not to the point that they made it seem in season 5 in the opener. Like it felt like a brand new storyline to me that he is so fiery and untempered or ill-tempered that he will just punch anybody he sees, is what they made it seem like. And that's, he usually, yes, he loses his temper, but he's provoked usually when he loses his temper.
Mhm.
Does he go too far? Sure. But it's not like he's a constant flame waiting to be blown up. Which is what they made it seem like.
yeah.
And I think that's why I got so mad at Haley, because I was like, why doesn't she understand that he's hurt? This is only 4 months out. But
Right.
part of the reason she doesn't understand is because they made his temper that was uncontrollable and ever constant suddenly part of the storyline.
Mhm.
And that's why it did make sense to me, because it never was before.
I would agree with that because I mean, like the only time we ever see his temper normally is when, like, let's say like Haley's involved and somebody's saying something
Mhm.
terrible about her, and when he's in his like protective mode. Like,
Yes.
normally he's not. Yeah.
So I thought that
agree.
was dumb. And then that's of course where we meet Nanny Carey. Now the thing that I didn't like there was and we talked about this in the last episode with him and Rachel. I
Mhm.
have very high expectations for Nathan and how I think he should act. And he should have not let her flirt with him. Be better,
Yes.
Nathan. That was a mistake.
True. Yeah. And I think that's a thing that Nathan kind of I don't know if Nathan is afraid, which is so funny because Nathan was kind of a jerk, like when the show starts. I mean, not kind of, he absolutely was. But it's almost like as he progresses in the show, he's afraid to not be nice to everyone, that he just lets too much happen sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, or maybe he just assumes that they should know that like they don't have a chance and he's just letting it happen. But like,
Yeah.
thinking about that time with Rachel, like if she wasn't pregnant, he's like, no, you wouldn't have a chance. Like no one has a chance, no matter how hard you try. Like
Mm-hmm.
Haley is it forever for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Like maybe he just doesn't feel the need to like express that, but he should, because people are getting the wrong idea.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe not look at your naked nanny in the pool when your wife is in bed right
Okay,
behind you.
though, like I'm just gonna be on. Like
He's a guy.
no, I wouldn't.
No.
I'm a girl, and I'm
I
telling
would
you,
come at my husband if he did that.
I would too. But I'm also saying, full disclosure, some hot young dude is swimming naked in my pool. I don't know if I think I would look for just a second.
Oh, I would not.
I would feel awful about it. I would feel awful, but like I think it would catch me off guard. Like, wait, are they doing what I think they're doing? Like, are you
I
serious?
mean, yeah, to that extent, yes. I might like look like what? But I wouldn't be like, hey, what's happening down there?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would. I mean, I'm trying to be completely honest here that
And that's
not
fine.
that, not that like anyone's gonna go, I don't have a pool, so there we go.
I mean,
But-
that stuff also makes me very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But I mean, I think there's no way I would not be able to tell my husband, and he would like probably murder
Yes, there's
somebody.
that. And that's
But like I would have to tell him.
that's the other thing when he's like, I kissed her. No, you didn't, Nathan. No, you did not.
No.
She kissed you. Be honest about what happened. And I thought Haley took that way too far. Like, when has he ever given you a reason to doubt him? Ever.
Yeah.
That was such a horrible Haley moment.
Right? He's to kick him. And this is
I agree.
this is my complaint about old dads too. I have a very, very similar complaint about that movie.
Ugh.
But Haley kicked him out
Mhm.
for what? And then you make it seem to Jamie that no, daddy chose. Do not lie to that boy and make it seem like that
Yeah.
was Nathan's choice to leave.
Yeah.
Ooh, I did
I
not
agree.
like that. That
I
I
agree
I
with
don't
that.
like the nanny Carrie life. I don't like it.
I
Nope.
was
No.
very, very mad at Haley during that whole storyline, and I didn't like it because, I hate hating Haley. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes any sense.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I really hate to hate Haley.
Mhm.
I hated her in that scene. I was like, come on, you can be better than this.
Yes. And when she got mad at Nathan for defending her when K-Fed smacked her in the butt, like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if he didn't say, yes, should he have hit the guy? No, he should not have. But he didn't because you told him not to, and you should have let it go there because he was defending your honor, which I feel like she would have been mad if he didn't do. Like, oh, are you
Okay.
just so caught up in the nanny that you weren't even going to defend me? Is where I felt like Haley would have gone had he not done it.
See, I kind of get why she was mad about that, because he had gotten in a
The
fight,
injury.
it just got out of the wheelchair. And I mean, that could have honestly been a big trigger for Haley of
Yeah.
seeing him go get in a fight again. All in her mind is, you're going to be back in this wheelchair. And
I
then
agree
there
with
goes
that.
everything.
Which is why
Yeah,
I
I
think
get
that
it.
she should have let it go because all she had to do was get in his face and say, Nathan, no. And he walked away with her.
Yeah.
She should have let it go then.
Yeah.
Yes, you have a conversation, but she freaked out on him. and
Yeah.
blew
I
up on him.
agree. I do think that it is one thing that, because Haley annoys the crap out of me a lot, actually.
Oh, really?
But, yeah. Like, I mean, just in she overreacts on it. But
Just
at
when
the
she comes at Nathan, she
time-
annoys me.
at the same time, I also appreciate that I feel like her representation is sometimes very natural, in that sometimes us women are kind of crazy and we like say
That's
things
probably
and
true.
we react in like odd ways that are completely irrational. We know they're irrational, but we can't help
Mhm.
it. And I think that Haley portrays that very accurately. So I can also appreciate that about her. Like,
Listen, Jeanette, I don't watch shows to find truths about myself.
because you know how many times my poor husband, like, I mean, I react so weird. He's like, I don't know what you actually want from me right now. And I'm like, I don't really know what I want from you right now, but I just want that, something different. Okay. So
I just want you to know what I want. That's
You need
all
to
that I
know.
want.
even if I don't know, you were supposed to know. Okay.
I was biting everybody's heads off in here today, and I finally looked at Ben. I was like, "It's me. It's me today, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm doing this." Okay, I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Good to
Steer
know.
clear.
That was me like a few days ago. And then he said, oh yeah, something happened today. I was like, so I now kind of realize what my issue was the other day. He was like, Yeah, I kind of figured. Sorry.
Whoops.
My bad.
So Haley teaching is another part of it. Like at first I thought I was going to hate it because of her and Q, but she did connect with the kids. And there was that scene with Jack and Sam that I really liked with Haley. And that's where we got to see how awful that principal is. Like she's a terrible person. What is she doing in education? She's awful at it. Just terrible. And also, again, I have to point out, yes, I know this is a teen drama put on in the early 2000s, but that's not a realistic situation either. Principals don't fire a teacher and then be like, I'm going to teach your class and I'm going to do it better than you. That's not how principals have a lot of work to do.
Now, as a teacher, I will say that, yes, there are instances where teachers do get fired in the middle of the day and are sent home and not come back. Now, are they fired right in front of all the students so that report can spread all over campus like wildfire? No, that does not happen.
No.
That's not a thing. And every time I see that, I'm like, you are a terrible, awful human being. And I'm not even going to get started on your principling skills because you could get terrible too.
You could get sued so bad, right?
Yes.
Like, that kind of like, so I don't know.
Like
that whole storyline was really dumb.
Haley could have a whole, case for a lawsuit there.
Do you think the only point to that was so that they can get her back in the recording studio? Is that the only point to that? Because I felt like, why are we introducing this brand new principal like this?
I think so. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because, tutor girl that, she turned into a teacher.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like they could have done without that. Like, I didn't realize it until you just now mentioned it, Maureen. But she could have come back in season 5 and they could have been like, like she didn't go to college. She pursued her music career. It would have been perfectly acceptable. I don't understand why they didn't just go that way in the first place.
Although I like her as a teacher. Why couldn't she have done both? Like I don't
exactly.
I would have loved to see her be a teacher throughout.
Yes.
No.
And if they needed her to get off of teaching and into the recording studio, they went to counseling, and that's the whole reason she started pursuing it anyway. And she was doing both for a bit. Why does it have to be one or the other? Nathan talked to her about touring. She doesn't want to do that. She just wants to put out music.
Although I guess, I'm trying to think with Peyton. I'm trying to remember what comes up next. Now that Peyton's gone, I feel like Haley probably takes a bigger role in the
just producing Mia's music. That's it.
Well, but we've
got
the
whole record label.
We'll have there's more because we'll have
that we're coming up on. You mean
too? Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll have
she takes over the label and everything.
Oh, that's right, because Peyton leaves. So maybe that was the reason they were getting. But I still think they could have done it differently. I don't think they had to introduce this brand new character to get her there. I think that she could have been doing both at the same time, and then taking the natural course that she's taking on more and more responsibility bit by bit, and then she could have left.
Yeah.
Because even with like Jack and Sam, was it a great scene? Sure. Did it need to happen? No.
Yeah, there really wasn't a big point to it. Other than like seeing, I don't know, I love seeing Jack in the classroom where he didn't even go to
shows how much I'm not even in this class.
I don't belong here. I'm not in this class, and you don't belong here either. It's like, ooh.
I did at first I didn't like him, but then like even when they're in the restaurant and the cafe and it's Jack and Sam and he had the little creamer tower and then she just smacked it and he just went, why?
He's so sweet.
Evan Peters, we love him.
Yeah. See, now I was surprised because Amanda did not warn me that Evan Peters was in this, and Amanda, that's kind of your dude or one of your dudes.
And so, dudes. I mean, I'll tell you, he's in The Office all day too.
Well, I knew that. I've watched The Office. I know he's in there, but I've never seen One Tree Hill before, so I was expecting you to be like, my man Evan's in this, and you didn't say a word.
Well, I guess I just thought you knew because that's just where I knew him from. That's where
it was to the point where I was actually second guessing myself on whether or not that was actually Evan Peters. So I was looking it up on IMDb, like, is this Evan Peters? Is it not? Because I feel like she would have said something. Because I mean, I was waiting for Julian's character. I was waiting for Austin Nichols the entire series so far because I was forewarned that he was in this. Yeah. So,
well, Jack Daniels isn't as big of a character.
He is for you though.
He is for me because I loved his character of how sweet he was, but you also see how so messed up he was brought up.
That made me sad.
I can't imagine why.
So with the other thing with counseling too, that the road to the NBA, which I like seeing that Nathan's in there, but it feels very not realistic. So for me, I'm just kind of like, okay. I mean, I enjoy this. It's great. It's fun. I'm glad he's achieving his dreams. I don't really think this is realistic, but okay, it is what it is. But I will say that what really confused me was he's like, I'm on the Charlotte Bobcats. I'm like, what? That's not their name. They are not the Charlotte. They're the Hornets. And I actually like. They were talking about like
they used to be.
They were for a period of time. They started as the Hornets, which is what I knew them as, Charlotte Hornets, when I was growing up.
They were the Bobcats, yeah.
And then I took a time where I wasn't watching basketball, and from 2004 to 14, they were the Bobcats, and I did not know that because they're the Hornets again. So I was like, "This is not."
Oh, I didn't realize they were the Hornets.
They're the Hornets again. 2014, they went back to the Hornets because I looked it up. I was like, "This is not." They're trying to pretend like this is a real NBA team, and it is not. But it is a real NBA team. They just switched their name. So
I didn't know they switched back. Also,
they did.
I didn't know they were the Hornets.
That's because I know the Charlotte Hornets are a team. So I was like, this is dumb. I was so mad that they were doing it, but it was actually an NBA team.
I'm still calling them Bobcats. I think I
they're
said
not.
Charlotte
They're the
Bobcats
Hornets.
like
They're the
2 weeks
Hornets.
ago.
And
My basketball knowledge is what my son does in One Tree Hill.
and the other aspect that we are all eternally grateful for of Naley is Jamie, because that kid is maybe the best part about this show. I freaking love that kid.
He's pretty phenomenal.
I don't like when he's sad. I love when he's happy, when he smiles. I like want to be a part of the joke. Like I love
He's
this
so smart.
In the chat,
y'all.
In the chat, I kept mentioning, it's like, oh my gosh, my favorite relationship is him and Brooke. And I'm like, never mind. My favorite relationship is him and this other person. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. This kid
It's
just
whoever he's on screen with.
This kid just makes everyone better.
Yes.
Him and Quentin. Oh, when he put that cape on the, oh my gosh.
I know.
Heartbreaking.
I know.
We're gonna segue from that sad thing. Say we're gonna see more of Jamie, right? Like he doesn't go away.
No, he never goes away. He's going
okay,
to
good.
Forever and ever. Don't worry.
We will talk more about him on our next week's episode, but just know that if you have not seen it before and you're desperately hoping to get to the end of the first 4 seasons like I was, Jamie makes all things better. Like all things better. There's not a scene where when he goes to the dance. And also, I'm sorry, is it normal in the South for kindergartners to have dances?
No,
because they don't here.
No, like maybe like a daddy-daughter dance or something like that.
Kindergarten dance where they had to ask somebody else like that. I was like, what is happening right now? He is 5 years old.
I taught at a K-8 school, and kindergartners weren't allowed to go to dances.
What? It's not until like junior high.
Yeah, we don't allow anybody under. We let the 5th and 6th graders do a dance, but that's the youngest we go.
Mm-hmm. See, our 5th graders, they wouldn't even let them. We had to, like I said, parents through the 5th grade class a dance last year because the school would not do it. So no,
yeah, the PTA does ours.
Yeah. We do like father-daughter dance or mother-son dances is what we'll do for like the young kids, but that's because a parent is going with them.
Those aren't even at our school. Like we don't do those at our schools. Those are like other places, like the castle here in town. Like other places put on these dances, but not like the school. Just middle school, high school.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to know that I'm not insane, because I thought this is not real. And that also seemed to be just so that Skills could hit on Miss Lauren was the main reason for that. And also to show that Jamie he's got a lot of swagger like that. That was it.
Yeah.
I also always felt very uncomfortable with Jamie, like in the Miss Lauren thing.
Yeah. That
so
was
weird to me every time.
I thought, okay, here's what I thought. I thought, Dan's giving advice. It's cute. It's funny. Teacher shows up. I thought Dan should have handled that a little differently than pretending like it's a date and then saying, Jamie, I would never hurt you. You go finish your date. No, that is, don't throw her underneath the room.
Yeah, but Dan can't really say anything to Jamie.
Yes, but he's better now. We're going to talk about Dan later because I love Dan Scott.
Wait.
Don't say that.
Oh, I think she'll still love him. You'll just be like, Dan, what are you doing? That'll be.
I mean, I've had that thought a couple times already, but we saved the Brooke conversation for when you were back, Amanda, because we want to talk Julian and we want to have a full-blown conversation with you about Julian, because we know that he is your favorite guy in the show and how much you love him and that he is just the best dude. I would go to the ends of the earth for Julian because I think he's like Nathan for me. I feel, admittedly, I mean, I'm not like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. That's not my mindset. I think that because of the characters that Nathan and Julian are, I would go to the ends of the earth for both of those guys.
Yeah, I like Julian as a character. I think he's perfect for Brooke.
Yeah.
Or
I just
anyone.
don't find him attractive. That's the only thing about Julian. I just don't see any attraction. I do love him and Brooke together, and I'm glad she got somebody who understands her and that supports her 100% and lets her be her to her truest self. He messes up a few times later on.
I think
And-
in a Nathan like mess up where he doesn't necessarily do anything wrong, but he doesn't he doesn't do everything. No, he doesn't do anything wrong. Even that is a wait a minute, I think I know.
You can't say anything. We are not
I know.
discussing future right now.
I don't think he does anything wrong that isn't a genuine mistake. That
Okay, yes, it was a genuine
Okay.
mistake, but it was still bad.
I've
It
never
was
been more
bad.
curious in my life.
Well, you'll get
It
there.
was bad, but then the other thing I'm thinking of, I think is more the Nathan like mistake where he just doesn't handle situations correctly,
Well, that too.
but he doesn't do
That's
anything
honestly
wrong.
I would not put Brooke with anybody else except Julian. I think that is her soulmate. That's her person.
Why do I have it in my head that you don't like him?
No,
I
she just
doesn't
don't find
like-
him attractive.
She just doesn't like his face.
I really do, but in all honesty, I really, really do like Julian and Brooke and their relationship and their future and everything like that. There's something about him that just doesn't do it for me. This shouldn't surprise any of you. Jeanette and I usually don't agree
I
on
know.
guys,
I know.
We have different taste in men. For
but
sure.
it's a gray area. We have like those like circle diagrams where it's just like
The
I like
diagram,
these,
yeah,
you
there's
like
every
these,
once
we
in a
kind of
while.
like both like these.
We should make one of those sometime.
We
Just
should-
to show.
please,
Can
please
we
do that.
actually do
We'll
that
name
just
all of our
for fun?
favorites. Let's go with our
Yes.
top 20. Like
Let's do it.
I think top 20. We'll see how many enter.
The other storyline we have with Brooke that's actually the predominant one. It's the one they prepared us for in the first 3 seasons. Is her clothing line. And okay, I know that you guys said I'm not allowed to say anything bad about the clothing line, which fine, I won't. But I still think Clothes Over Bros is a stupid name for a clothing line. Or I think it's dumb. I
That's
don't like
okay.
it. And I
That's okay.
realized that spelled out it's Cobb. Cobb Company is what I wrote down in the notes. And that's even dumber acronym. I don't like it.
It
Well,
could be
I was expecting a whole lot more frustration at the fact that I did not like the name of this company.
that's fine because
that's fine.
never mind. I won't say anything. But yeah, we're good.
Yeah, that's good.
What do you mean, never mind? I won't say anything. What does that mean?
I mean, we're good.
You
doing
gotta
well.
watch the show.
Yeah, keep watching. It's fine.
Does she change the name of her clothing company?
Just watch.
There might be other clothing lines to come along.
Like the baby line?
That's Baby Brooke, right? That's what she was calling it.
Yeah, Baby Rook.
But that didn't last very long or at
No.
all.
No, there's another
it's
one.
All, it's all done. It doesn't come back again.
I don't think
No,
so. But there's another
mean-
one that comes later.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, she's got that, and that's how we meet Victoria, who, man, she's just
She's awful.
I have to tell you though, I'm irritated because the last episode I started to like her, the last episode of season 6, because she was, as a mother, I cannot imagine treating my child that way.
No.
I don't care how angry they make me. I don't care what I've sacrificed in my life, what I gave up. I cannot imagine ever speaking to my child, even in
I know.
microscopic amount, the way she did.
I know.
And look, not to bring the conversation back to Julian, but I'm going to for a second. Like his conversation with Victoria is one of my favorite parts of the entire series.
Mhm.
When
I
he
love
like says all the turn, he's like, "Nice to meet you, Victoria. Feels like I've known you all my life." I'm just like, oh my
I
god,
do love that
like,
part.
someone needed to say that. And I think even though she tried to like, she didn't tell Brooke he stopped by or whatever, the little look on her face, just to twitch for a second, was almost like she almost liked that he like
Mhm.
stood up to her.
Mhm.
I
I
don't
But
know.
think-
that's what she liked about Sam too. Go ahead, Eve.
And I think we see a lot of it later on too, as she starts to grow on us even more. But I
Mhm.
feel like she respects Julian in some respect for saying that to her.
Mhm.
Because I mean, Peyton always loved to, do little snippy comments at her. But I think Julian was really the first one who was like, hey, you need to buck up or you're not going to be in her life anymore. And that's
Mhm.
just how it is. And I think she respected that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I think Peyton, yeah, I agree. I think Peyton's goal was to offend her and like
Mhm.
make her feel the way she made Brooke feel. Julian didn't care about offending her. He didn't care about making her feel the way Brooke felt. He cared about, listen, and he even says it, if you can't learn to be nice to her, then you aren't going to be in her life. I don't care about playing games with you. I don't care about making you feel bad, but I'm not going to let you do it to her anymore. And I think that's what she liked about Sam too.
Mhm.
Because Sam
Yeah,
was
she
very,
did.
and I think that's okay. So I did say in the beginning that there didn't seem to be a jump start for her. Maybe that is what it was. Maybe because you see the whole beginning when that was weird too. And her mom would have her go on dates and then like kick him out of the limo at some random spot on the street. Like that was weird. But Brooke took it all. And Brooke did whatever mommy said she did, because Brooke, and that's what broke my heart, is Brooke tried so hard to earn her mom's love because her mom taught her that's what she has to do. You don't get my love. You have to earn my love, which was awful.
It's
Just
wrong.
awful.
Like, you earned my help. It's like, no, you're her mother. You should,
Yes.
it's not earned.
It's not supposed to be. No, that's awful. And I feel like now that we're talking about it, I feel like her going, I did like that she went over there with a gun. And honestly, I actually thought she did, because I don't think she tried to set up Brooke. I thought she tried to get Millicent beaten up because she hated Millicent. When Brooke said that, I was like, oh, I bet it makes sense.
I thought so too. First time I watched it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think that with Brooke saying, you know what, this company isn't as important to me. I'd rather lose you. I'd rather lose this company just so I can be rid of you. That was Brooke standing up to her mom for the first time, I think. And I think that was why maybe her mom was like, okay. Her mom doesn't like anybody unless they can be, I don't want to say a backbone, because I don't feel like Brooke was ever without a backbone.
Yeah.
But what am I trying to say? I don't
know. I think it was just she had to lose her to realize that she actually meant something to her. And I mean, that's terrible. I mean, I won't make excuses for Victoria there, but I think losing Brooke honestly did show her, like, wait a minute, I have not done my part. I think she thought just like she was telling Sam, she was there. She didn't give her up. She took care of her. And I think somehow in her mind, she thought that was doing enough. Like, things could be worse for you. And I think finally she realized, like, wait a minute, no, I've been awful. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's true redemption. And I think that's where, like, I'm able to forgive her, like, just like with Dan. Like, I mean, if I can see that you truly are remorseful and you feel bad for this, like, okay. I mean, I don't know.
I do feel like, though, it's people who are strong enough to tell her exactly what needs to be said to her, even if it's hurtful. Those are the people that she actually sort of fights for, because she did in the end tell, I keep wanting to call her Samantha, but that's not her name. She did tell Brooke, I like how she sniffed it in there too. Go to New York, do this, and then tell Julian you love him. Like, just, she couldn't bear to have herself be seen as sentimental or kind. So she just slipped it in with a work profile list of things to do. So she admired him for that, in the same way that she fought for, but she is so broken. That woman is so broken. Probably, and the sad thing is, she's probably been broken by her husband. I mean, the things that her husband said to her were awful. Doesn't mean that Brooke deserved all the hate, but it explains why Victoria was so terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I will say also Peyton. Victoria never gave Peyton a chance, but Peyton was always very stand-up-ish to Victoria. That was just one Victoria never appreciated.
But her goal there was not, her goal was to wound Victoria and offend her. That was Peyton's goal. It was, listen, you this, you're not going to talk to Brooke like this because you're this. So, I mean, that was kind of, Peyton was trying to protect her, but Peyton was also 17 too. I mean, of course she's 22 in this latest installment, but whereas Sam and Julian are like, no, you don't get to do this to her. I don't care to insult you. I don't care enough about you to insult you. What I do care is about this one over here.
Well, I think Peyton's judgment as far as Victoria is concerned, though, was clouded by the fact that she's known Brooke her whole life. Like, she knows, she spent most of her life knowing how Victoria is, and like Sam and Julian are getting to know her as her relationship with her adult daughter. So it's a little different.
And I think that Peyton too, she has hated Victoria always, because when they were kids, Victoria was awful, and Peyton was the large one in coaching Brooke of, you don't owe your parents this because they're this is how they treat you. And I'm sure her mom didn't appreciate that, but Peyton also reacts to everything with her entire profile baggage. So that's, she adds her own stuff to it. And as for her becoming a mom, I'm not really surprised. There was one thing that Peyton said when she was recording her just in case video at the end of season 6. She said, and I didn't like that she said that. She said the best thing about Brooke is that she always puts her friends first. Why is that the best thing about Brooke? Why can't the best thing be that she has a good heart, that she has a huge heart, that she loves people? But I think for someone outside of her to say the best thing about her is she will always put her friends first means that she always puts herself last. I don't think that's the best thing. I think that shows how big her heart is. but with the that's why it didn't surprise me that she wanted to be a mom, because Brooke wants to give herself to other people. This season 5 made me solidly in Brooke Davis's corner. Like she is the most forgiving person on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
More than anybody else. I mean, these people who did awful, terrible things to her, she's like, you know what? You deserve a second chance. You prove yourself. I'm fine. I'm good with you.
She's also the one who was in the most episodes of the show.
Mm-hmm. And she's also the one who had most of the trauma. Yeah, Peyton had a rough go with parents. Brooks was worse.
So too. I mean, because at least Peyton had, like, that's what people talk about. At least Peyton had
closure.
I mean, I know Larry wasn't there, but Larry, he loves her, and you know how much he loves you. Like, to think that your parents hate you is probably the worst thing that could ever happen to someone, I think. I mean, they're the people that are supposed to love you, and you have to feel completely, if that one person can't love me, you have to feel like, can anyone ever love me then? I mean,
yes. And that's why she does so much for other people, is because she feels like she has to earn it, because that's what her parents told her. People who were supposed to protect her told her that you can't. And so when she got that little baby, I felt so bad for her when she had to give it up a week before she was supposed to, or even a few days. I don't remember. It was 8 days or 3 days.
It was 8 days.
So a week early. I felt so awful for her, because all she wants to do is, and that's what I love about, I would say that's her best trait. All that she wants to do in life is to make sure no one else experiences the pain that she experienced by being abandoned by parents, by being hated by parents, by being thrown aside and treated as trash by people who are supposed to protect you. And with the Samantha thing, I love their relationship.
Me too. Yeah. I really hated that ended like it did. I mean,
so does Sam not come back?
No, because she went on to she left and to do the show Awkward, which is a great show. I'm not gonna lie, but I would have rather kept her on One Tree Hill.
We don't ever do it again, which
it's a bummer.
A real bummer. Yeah.
It didn't confuse me because I knew where she went, and I knew why she wasn't on the show anymore. But it also, in just a Tree Hill mindset, it always confused me that Brooke and Sam had such strong bond, and Sam's still living in the town, yet we never see her again.
Yeah, I mean, had
she visit Brooke?
Sometimes?
I think she did move.
Charlotte. Yeah,
she got the postcard. I didn't see where, but she got the postcard and said, "We wish you were here." But I couldn't see where
Charlotte. But Charlotte is not that far.
Still not far away.
And so I'm assuming it's not supposed to be far from Tree Hill. I mean, so.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say that's weird about that is her mom was just a waitress, right? In this tiny little diner.
A big house.
It's an awfully nice house with a picket fence around it.
She must have found her a husband, is all I'm saying.
And she's just waitressing for fun.
Sorry.
I agree. I thought the same thing. I'm like, dang.
Where do I get this waitressing job? Because I'm currently looking for a job. So
you know what?
We'll relocate.
I need to ditch the teaching gig and find out where that waitressing job is.
We do know, obviously, the housing market was different in the early 2000s than it is right now.
I don't think it was that
good.
It definitely wasn't.
We missed an opportunity to move to North Carolina.
Right? Sure.
Why weren't we buying? We were 22 then. Why weren't we buying houses then?
You know what? That is true. Why weren't we?
Well, her mom's also a lot older, I think, than 22.
No, because she's 16. Her mom had her when she was 16. She's 32. Oh, yes, she is older than 22. Never.
She's like my age.
I thought you were saying older than us. Stay tuned for part 2 of our newbie review of One Tree Hill series, seasons 5 and 6, available now. Check out our Facebook group, One Tree Hill Scott Family Fan Club, and let us know how you feel about OTH. And, as always, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and podcast platforms. We'll see you real soon.